back. Okay, so today I'm super excited to tell you about something that I have going on over the next month and through the next 8 weeks of summer. And it is going to completely change the way that you think about visibility in your business and in your life. Okay. And so I'm really saying that because what I'm about to describe is the opposite of everything that you've been taught about showing up. And once you hear it, you're not going to be able to unhear it. Okay. So stay with me because, again, how we do anything is how we do everything. This is going to help business-wise and also just in your life as well. So with my work with clients and just personally, I've seen this as well, where I see all the time, like women who are super successful in business, in life, they're brilliant at what they do. Their clients get incredible results. Like they're just so good at using the gifts that God has given them. And they really have built something that is like so incredible. And you know what I mean, if you're listening to this, there's this frustration, this like confusing, I don't know, gap between how good you are and how visible you actually are. And whenever you look at like, how do I get in front of more people? How do I make a bigger impact? Like, how do I do more without actually doing more? Right? You know what I mean? And unfortunately, everywhere that you look, it kind of tells you the same exact thing, right? It's like post more, be consistent, show up every day, batch your content, go live, send daily emails, goodness, follow the algorithm, use trending audio, whatever the thing is like that. And so that is like kind of what we think of as visibility, right? Like getting in front of more people, which that is what visibility is from a literal definition standpoint, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about right now. And so you've heard all these things, you've tried it, you follow the plan, you force yourself to post 6 times a week, you send emails, you show up on stories every single day, and it works out for a little while. Then like life happens and you can't stick with it. And then you start to feel guilty and everything like that. And then the whole cycle starts over again. So you go to somebody else, they tell you to do this thing, so you do that thing, but then you do that thing and you're like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. And then it's like, again, this cycle that just never ends and you're constantly frustrated. You're constantly like, I am showing up, I am being consistent, but it's not working for some reason. And there is a specific reason, and that's literally what I'm going to tell you. The reason is not because you're not, like the strategy isn't working for you. Literally every single strategy works. It just depends on if it's working for you, right? And I always say like all work works. It's working for you or it's working on you. So that's one way to shift that thinking. But in terms of like this visibility thing, it is not that you need to have like this better content calendar. What it truly is, and ready? Like this is the big thing here. What is actually happening is that you are trying to show up as a version of yourself that is not actually authentically you. And so what you're doing inadvertently is copying somebody else's format, like somebody else's frequency, somebody else's style. And the reason that matters is because your body knows what you're doing. Your nervous system knows what you're doing. And so it resists every single time. Because there's nothing more exhausting and more frustrating than trying to perform a version of yourself that like isn't authentically you. So not only are you having to create this content that you're like, oh, I don't want to create content like this, but you're also having to post that content that you're like, oh, I don't want to post content like this. And then you have to repeat it to whatever strategy it is that you're trying to work with. And it just does not feel good, right? Versus the women who show up effortlessly, consistently, magnetically, and consistently doesn't necessarily mean like every single day. This can mean consistency for whatever that means for them. But what's different is that when they do show up, it's effortless. It's magnetic. It's like, how is she so joyful and happy and just like her words come out of her mouth without her sounding like she's a robot or like that she just copied this from AI, right? And it's not because they are more disciplined or have a perfect content plan or like have batched tons and tons of content. Maybe they have, but for the majority of women that I've seen, this is not what they have done. They have just figured out how to show up as exactly who they are. And when you do that, when that version of visibility is authentically yours, and you stop being so anxious about what people are going to say about you, which is a pattern that you've learned whenever you were a young child, that your nervous system is trying to keep you safe, what happens is that you can actually show up because it actually feels like you. What you're saying is authentically you. What you're putting out there is just what you would have a conversation with a friend with, right? And so therefore it feels safe. It feels good. And the consistency or the frequency isn't a big deal anymore because you're doing what feels right for you. And so this is the foundation of everything that we're doing in this new 8-week course that I am offering that is called Summer of Showing Up. Okay. And so I'm so excited about this because literally 2 years ago was the first time that I put my face out there. The reason for that is because I have run a successful business in person since 2014 and like hundreds of 5-star reviews. You can look it up on Google. It's called Five Phillies Farm in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. And so whenever I started Lorena Wellness years ago, I was like, oh, I can make it a faceless business, right? You've seen those, like, have a faceless business, have these pretty Instagram posts, all the things like that. And I was like, oh, I can do that. But what I realized is that that doesn't really work because people don't just buy content. People buy relationships. And if people don't know who you are, then they can't see themselves buying from you because they don't trust you. They don't trust that you're actually a person, especially in this age of AI. They don't trust that you are actually a person. So therefore, they're not going to put their money where their mouth is because it doesn't feel like a safe investment from them subconsciously. Even if they're all in cognitively, subconsciously, it's not a thing that they're ready to do. And remember, your subconscious runs about 95% of everything that you do versus your conscious brain runs about 5%. Okay. And so 2 years ago, I was like, I have to get visible. And for me, I tried all the things. I tried to do the batching, the content plans, everything like that. And I definitely had more success when I put myself out there than I did before whenever I was faceless. However, I was doing it to somebody else's pattern, essentially. And it felt really hard. And I was like, I hate batching content. Like, I just hate, it's not something that I like to do. I like to pick up my phone and like riff or like have a spontaneous moment, and I magically, like, not magically, but I pump out like 10 posts and that it feels so good. But that's not even the visibility part that we're really going to speak on today. It's also the safe enough to be visible, right? So that's where so many people miss this. So yes, it's one thing to teach you about being authentically you. It's another thing to teach you about how it is safe in order to show up as your authentic self. Okay. And this goes again back to those nervous system patterns that you learned whenever you were a child, where you learned maybe that it wasn't safe for you to express yourself. It wasn't safe for you to have an opinion, because if that happened, then maybe somebody said something or you lost friends or something happened, and you have learned that, and it's been carrying over in your personal life and in your business life as well. Okay. And so that's what makes this program unlike anything that you have ever seen. Because when a woman knows her message, like, or even when a woman knows her message, even when she has found like her authentic self, there's something that still often stops her, right? And you probably have experienced this where you have sat down to post and you're like, I can't post this. Like, what if this person sees it? Like, what if I make this person mad? What if it's too polarizing? What if? And so you just don't do it. Or if you do post it, you kind of water it down so that you don't try to make other people feel bad, essentially. That is a pattern that you learned from whenever you were a child, okay? And a lot of people think of it as like people pleasing, which is 100% the truth, but it goes deeper than that. There's a wound underneath of there that your body's trying to protect you from, okay? And so that's really what your nervous system is doing. Your nervous system has learned that, again, somewhere along the line, it was dangerous to be seen. It was criticized when you showed up or you spoke up. It was taught that confidence was pride, right? I literally just talked to somebody about this yesterday, about how showing up and being super confident was like prideful, right? When in reality, it's like, no, when it's rightly ordered, it's the opposite of pride. It's actually glorifying God. And so it's also maybe that you were visible once and it did not go well. So maybe it's that 5th grade public speaking class where you kind of bombed it and everybody laughed at you or something like that, right? And so your body was like, that's never, ever going to happen again. And so now every single time that you go to post, or that you go on a podcast, or that you go to speak in public, or even that you go to your family's Christmas party or holiday party or whatever, and your mouth is just like clammy and you're like, I can't speak, right? That's because that nervous system is running the same program, that it's danger, that it needs to be shut down. We need to protect things. All right. And then physically, this shows up like your chest tightening. You can't get your words out, like your brain sort of gets muddled. You have a sudden urge to do literally anything other than the post, right? And again, it's just this pattern that we've learned that's trying to keep you safe. But what's really cool is that patterns can be healed. And so what I want you to know is how everything that you're doing is, again, literally just trying to protect you. And so you are the woman who cannot make yourself visible in business, and you are the same woman who makes herself small in every single other areas of her life as well. Because again, how we do anything is how we do everything, right? So this shows up like not asking for what you need, over explaining, over apologizing, kind of like shrinking into the corner of the room when you should be the one like actually leading things, right? It's not just a business problem. This is a life pattern And when you heal it in one area, it starts to shift everywhere else. Okay. So this is what nervous system work does. It doesn't just fix your Instagram consistency. It changes the way that you move through the world, which is amazing and literally what God wants. Now, with all that said, I want to be super clear what Summer of Showing Up is not, because it's super important. It is not a program that's going to say like post 6 times a week. We are not chasing any algorithm. We're not looking at trending audios. We're not trying to figure out what hashtags. I'm not the person if that's what you want to do. We're also not batching like 30 days of content on a Sunday or on Monday posting or like filming everything and then posting it all throughout the week, right? That's not what this is. Again, there's people out there who teach that. This is not what this is. This is going to be the thing that allows you to create a magnetic presence online and in person. So this is not a strategy course. There's no 5 steps, no formula, no content calendar that's going to say like, do this and it'll fix everything, because none of those things will work, because the problem is that you do not have, it's not that you don't have a plan. Your problem, because you have a plan. I'm sure you've done all the things. You have probably pretty Canva templates, all the things like that. Your problem is that your body will not let you execute the plan that you already have. So what's really cool about this is that it's not a one size fits all program, because some women are wired to show up every single day, every single week live. Some women are wired to write long emails. Some women are wired to have conversations. Some are wired to like post whenever they feel inspired, right? There's no wrong answer. Like, everybody is different. The only wrong answer is forcing yourself into a format that is not yours and then wondering why it's not working or why it feels so horrible or why you feel so stuck. So this is for the woman who has built the business, has clients. That's what she's doing. Okay, so practically speaking, the Summer of Showing Up is 8 weeks live this summer. We are going to do 2 things simultaneously. First, we're going to find your authentic version of visibility. This is the specific way that God wired you to show up. It feels natural, sustainable, and genuinely like you. Okay? Not somebody else's model, like not saying to do this thing or that thing. Yes, but this is going to be where you stop having to be convinced to show up because you want to now, because it stops feeling like a chore and it starts feeling more like an extension of who you are. And it's actually really liberating whenever you can post the thing that might be super controversial and you're like, you know what, I do this out of love. And if this isn't for my people, then that's okay. Like, not everybody's my people, and that's fine. Right? And then the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to really learn and start to heal the nervous system patterns that have been stopping you. Because finding your authentic voice is one thing and it's huge. But if your body still feels that things are dangerous, then you will find a way to not post. You will find a way to not be visible. So we have to do both of the things together at the same time. Okay, so really quick breakdown of the week. Okay, so weeks 1 and 2, we're going to get super honest. We're going to look at the pattern. We look at what it has cost you in your business and your life in real numbers, and we're going to address the theology of hiding. Because so many women, especially Christian women, have called their fear humility, right? And again, this is zero judgment. I've been there as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to name it and we're going to deal with it directly. Okay? Because again, that's just the evil one speaking to you or the world speaking to you. We want God's voice to speak to you. Weeks 3 and 4, we're going to find your message. This is not your niche, not your tagline. Like, this is the conviction that comes from what you actually have survived and what you know now. And what I have found is that your nervous system, when it is regulated, your real message surfaces like supernaturally, because it's been there the entire time. Your body just wouldn't let it out, right? Same thing with hearing God's voice. When your nervous system is rewired and regulated, you're going to actually be able to hear God's voice, right? Weeks 5 and 6, you're going to practice being seen in real time with real people, because your nervous system needs evidence that being seen is safe. And the only way to get that evidence is to actually do it and survive it. Okay. 7, we're going to build your rhythm. Again, this is not saying we're going to post 3 times a day. This is not saying we're going to post again. So it's not saying we're going to do this many things a week, this many things a month, whatever. We're going to figure out how you actually are made to create. Okay. We're going to see how you're made to be visible, right? And this is not cycle syncing necessarily. This is not figuring anything else out. This is literally the pattern that God has put inside of you. Okay. And we're going to build around your nervous system, not against it. Because again, if you have a rhythm that fights your wiring, it will collapse. And then you're going to be like, why is none of this working? Like, and then get out of business and you're going to not do what God wants you to do. And it's just not going to be a good thing. Right. All right. Week 8, we're going to have you walk out with a clear message that's going to feel like you, that is genuinely yours, and 8 weeks of proof that your body sees showing up is not going to destroy you. Okay. And what actually happens when a woman finds her authentic visibility and heals that nervous system pattern underneath of it, she stops performing. She stops trying to sound like somebody else. She stops trying to match somebody else's energy or follow somebody else's format. She just shows up as she is consistently. Again, consistently doesn't necessarily mean every day. This is not a numerical thing. Consistently means reliably. Okay. That's really what it looks like. If you look up the etymology of consistency, I don't have it pulled up right now, but the better word for it is reliable, meaning that you are there whenever people need you. Okay. So my goal is not for you to be consistent. My goal is for you to be reliable, whatever that looks like for you. Right. Okay, next, what you're going to do is then by healing this, people are going to feel it. They're going to feel the difference between somebody who's performing and somebody who is genuinely present, right? So like authentic presence is magnetic in a way that just implementing a strategy never could do, okay? And people are not just going to follow you. They're going to want to work with you because they feel like they already know you. They trust you before they even have a conversation with you. So that is really what we're building here, not a content machine, not personal brand, like not practicing your speech. And here's why summer specifically, because I know most business owners and people in general coast kind of through or from like June-ish to like August. This means that they're posting less, emailing less, showing up less, and they spend all of September, October warming up the audience that they had, which means that they do not actually start selling again until November. And this is two of the strongest selling months of the year. Right? September, October are just gone before it even starts. And so the women that are going to join this 8-week program are going to spend that same summer this year doing the most important work in their business. And yes, I get it. It's summer. I still have lots of plans with my family. This is not meant to be like grind. We're going to meet once a week live for a little less than an hour to go over some strategy, not again, strategy in terms of content, but strategy and like learning about your nervous system so that you can really understand it. Because when you can understand it, you can be compassionate and you can actually change things. And then you'll have access to a private community. So it's just going to be us on Telegram so we can message back and forth. I'll send you little you can do it. Like this is what's going on whenever you feel like this. You could ask questions. You can get real-time support, things like that. It's not meant to be like you're glued to your computer all summer long. Okay. Definitely not your phone either. All right. But what is going to happen is that you will find your authentic voice again in business, but also in life. Right. Can you imagine showing up to the 4th of July party and really feeling super confident about yourself, about your business, about your family, about your own decisions, and people asking you like, why are you deciding to homeschool your kids? Why are you deciding to have them dress like this? Why are you deciding to not have them watch TV? Whatever it is for you. And you can confidently say, this is why. And you are convicted and you don't care what they think because they have their life and like whatever God is calling them to. And right now you feel like God is calling you to this and you're going to stand in that authority, right? Can you imagine that? Like just imagine July 4th party. People are questioning and you have an answer. Not that you need to have an answer, but you have an answer and you don't mind telling them the answer because you know that this is what God has convicted you to do. And you feel so confident showing up and so confident that you're still going to be loved even by showing up and maybe being controversial and whatever else is going on, right? Because we've healed the pattern underneath the resistance. We've built a presence that is truly magnetic. And by September 1st, while everyone else is starting to restart again, you are already in motion. Again, not consistency in terms of what the world thinks or what social media strategists think, but in motion in terms of you are reliable. You show that you are a person, that you are the expert. You have gone through this thing, right? And that's huge. So this is 8 weeks live. It starts June 2nd. There's only a few spots. I'm really trying to keep it small. It's $497 until May 18th, and then the price is going to go up. So if you want that special launch price, you also get a one-on-one with me. So again, for $497, you get the 8-week course, you get all the coaching, you get live trainings, you get also the one-on-one call with me, all for $497, but only until May 18th, and then the price is going to go up. Okay. So if this is you, I want you to go over to Instagram, DM me the word summer and I'll send you details, or you can go in the show notes here and you can find them below. I would love to see you inside. And if you've been listening and thinking this is exactly what I need, lean into that. Trust it. I know it's scary. I know it's hard to part with your hard-earned money. But if God has convicted you and you've listened this far, then again, this is his way of saying, this is the time. You need to do this, right? So let's make this summer the summer that changes everything, not just in your business, but in your life, in your family, in your relationships, because God wants you to show up. Now it's just a matter of, are you going to listen to God? Are you going to listen to the world? Are you going to listen to the evil one, right? It's your choice. But right now, I'm rooting for you to listen to God because I know that you have a huge, huge mission and you just have to be confident enough and secure enough in your body to really take hold of that mission and to change not only your life, but other people's lives as well. All right. So again, find me on Instagram, DM me the word summer, or you can find it in the show notes below. Looking forward to seeing you inside.